Hello everybody, it's Sylvie, welcome back. I hope you're doing good. Today I am doing a tag video. This is the Thanksgiving Tarot tag, which I think is called Thankful Tarot. The tag is by Livy over at Crescent Dreams Tarot, who also tagged me. Thank you, Livy. And yeah, I wanted to do this because I was tagged to do so, but also it's just a really nice tag because I am very thankful for TarotTube and the community on here and making videos and like getting comments and having conversations. It brings me a lot of joy. So I'm very pleased to be doing this tag. So without any further ado, prompt number 1 is, what about tarot and cartomancy in general are you thankful for? And I've really thought about this for a minute, and I think that when I really get down to it, tarot has given me a framework to explore and understand myself, basically, the way I think, the way I understand things. It's helped me like self-therapize myself a bit and work through some stuff that's been really difficult to cope with. And I feel like tarot, because it's a framework, it provides like answers, but it doesn't provide answers because it provides what you see in the cards. Like it's a reflective thing. There's got to be a better way to explain this. Like, it's an external thing. It has the same benefit of like talking to somebody and talking out whatever your problem is, and then being a bit of a like wall to bounce your ideas off. Tarot also does that, but it's non-judgmental, and it provides options and ways of thinking that you might not necessarily come to by yourself. But also at the end of the day, like, if it seems completely wrong, even if it seems completely wrong, it helps you, or at least it helps me, to kind of crystallize what does feel right. So it's been a very valuable tool for getting to know myself, understanding myself, as well as like working through some stuff. And I won't get any more into that here and now. I don't think that's necessary. But yeah, tarot has been very, it's been a game changer for me. Like, I'm not gonna pretend it's less significant than it is. Okay, so prompt number 2 is an old deck you're thankful for. Hopefully that's all the like deep and meaningful shit that I'm gonna get into. So an old deck you're thankful for. I took this as an older published deck rather than a deck that has been longer in my collection specifically, because it made sense. This deck does not fit in this bag, which is my fault. But anyway, so the old deck that I'm thankful for is the Voyager Tarot. And this, is this published in the 80s? I think so. And the reason this is I did not intend to match my nails to the borders, but that's pretty sick. So the reason this is an old deck that I'm thankful for specifically is this really like opened the gates to collage tarot decks for me, because I'm not gonna say, I think it's just because it was cheap. It was cheap, everybody talks about it, and so I picked it up and then I really fell in love with it. And the other reason that I'm thankful for this is because it's the first deck that I acquired aside from the Mary L Tarot, because that's in a league of its own. But this was the first deck that I brought into my collection that I tried to work with that kind of does its own thing with the tarot system. And like at first that was a bit intimidating, but then once I started working with it, it really kind of opened up the world of tarot for me. It really opened up how I see the cards. Like, everybody always says tarot is what you make of it. You make your own meanings. Whatever you think is what the card means is what the card means. But it's one thing to kind of hear that, and another thing to actually put it into practice yourself and start to make your own associations with things. And it was this deck that really kicked that off for me. And I really appreciate it for that. And I'm working with this at the moment. Actually, this is my monthly daily draw. I'm pulling a card and reading the guidebook for it. I've got the, where is it? I've got the big guidebook that you can buy separately. Voyager Tarot, Way of the Great Oracle. And I'm really enjoying digging into this, digging into the deck, getting to know it a bit better. So that is my old deck that I'm thankful for. All right, the next prompt number 3, is a new deck that you're thankful for. and I again went with a newer published deck, and this is the Squid Cake Marseille Tarot. This is the mass market edition that came out earlier this year. Oh, it's so cute. And this is a new deck that I'm thankful for because it, you know, much like the Voyager opened the way for non-traditional tarot systems, like Rider-Waite-Smith based systems. This was my first Marseille deck that I picked up kind of on a whim, kind of because it was cute and I thought I might want to learn Marseille. And then as I started pulling cards and reading with it, or trying to read with it, I wouldn't say that I'm fluent in Marseille yet, but as I started working with it, I really started to really enjoy it and picked up another couple Marseille decks, and I'm hoping to get seriously back into studying it next year. That's one of my goals, my tarot goals for 2024, if you will. And yeah, without this deck, I don't know if I would have jumped on Marseille anytime soon, because let's be honest, a lot of traditional Marseille decks are like not the cutest. Like they're not pretty. Like I appreciate them for what they are for sure, but they're not like aesthetically the most pleasing. And this is just so cute. Like we've got little strawberries. I talk about this deck all the freaking time. But it is the traditional orientation of all the pips, which is important in Marseille, and not all pip decks are Marseille pip decks. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I love this. I'm really thankful that this came out when it did, that I got myself a copy, and that it kind of opened the door to Marseille for me. Right, prompt number 4 is a deck back that feels like a blessing because it is so good. And I did a whole video on deck backs and deck borders that I like, but I didn't have this deck then. And would you look at it? Is that not just so gorgeous? And this, I almost picked this as my new deck that I'm thankful for, but then I decided that I wanted to include, I didn't want to double up on anything, because I have lots of decks and I want to show them off, and I wanted this to be my tarot back. Like, first of all, it's stunning, it's beautiful, that is basically the reason. No, it's not reversible, but I don't read reversals, so that means nothing to me. And it's stunning. It works with the style of the artwork of the deck. Like it makes sense. Like you get deck backs sometimes that I'm like, this was an entirely different artist with an entirely different brief, almost, it seems, did the backs for some decks, but this, like, it works. It's busy, which I like, but it's not too busy. Because like you spend a lot of time looking at deck backs when you're shuffling, so I feel like it only makes sense that it should be a nice deck back. And I just think it's really beautiful, and I love this like ascension and descent kind of at the same time, because it's the Lilifer Tarot, like Lilith and Lucifer, and it's beautiful, and it's very, I can't think of the word, I kind of want to say inspiring, but it makes me want to pick up the deck just because the back is so good, and I feel like it's got a lot of energy to it, which is really nice. So yeah. Alright, prompt number 5 is a specific oracle that you're thankful for. Can you guess? It's the Sustain Yourself. So this year has been a bit of an oracle journey for me. I've done a couple videos on it. I did a video, I want to say back in the spring, showing my oracle deck collection at that time, and kind of chatting through what I do use oracle for and why I struggle with oracle decks. So I've been on a bit of an oracle journey this year, trying to find decks that work for me, that I don't find too like cheesy, and that I can actually incorporate into my readings. And this one, again, it changed the game for me. This also is by James Wanless, who also did the Voyager. So clearly his decks are just fantastic. They just work for me. But I love working with this. And the thing that made me pick this deck in particular is because I started reaching for this when I was going through a phase where I felt like tarot wasn't really sticking, or it just wasn't really, it wasn't really, there was some kind of disconnect there. And having just gone through a fairly, going through, it's been a bit of a rough time. Scorpio season was rough. Winter seasonal depression, it's always a rough time around now. And I've realized that when I'm feeling down and dissociated, that's when tarot kind of stops working. And all of that to say, I started picking up this deck and using it in place of tarot. So I know a lot of people, and myself included, I will often ask different questions of Oracle versus tarot, or more often I will include Oracle as like a message or an advice card, or as like a kind of way to set the tone for a reading. But I started just pulling these cards as tarot cards, almost in like tarot spread positions, and then going to the guidebook, which I will grab. This monster of a guidebook, like, it's huge. It's unnecessarily huge. My white balance is angry. Yeah, like, it doesn't need to be this fucking big. But yeah, I was just pulling cards in tarot spread positions and reading them as like answers almost to that spread position. And it just really worked for me, and it really helped me figure out ways I could use Oracle decks. This also, I use in all kinds of ways. I love this deck so much. I think it's fantastic. I love the theme of it, this like ecology theme. I love the analog collage style. I could and I have waxed lyrical about this deck. I think it's fantastic. And yeah, it just really was a bit of a catalyst in me figuring out how I want to incorporate Oracle decks in my collection, because I was like, I know that they could be really valuable for me. There is no reason why I should be the only person in the world who doesn't enjoy or can't figure out how to use Oracle decks. And yeah, this one really kind of changed the game. And I'm very, very thankful for it for that reason. So, okay, prompt number 6, a guidebook or cartomancy book you're thankful for because it enriched your practice. All right, so my response to this prompt, if I can make room, is this book. It's Tarot and Astrology, Enhance Your Readings with the Wisdom of the Zodiac by Corinne. This book is just fantastic. So it's got all kinds of bookmarks and things in it at the moment because I am using this as reference for my deck and walk studies. But this really has enriched my practice. This book was the thing that made me, or helped me realize, that the way to learn the tarot is to learn the connections between the cards and between the different systems and symbols that show up in the cards. At least for me, I feel like that is the way to learn the tarot, to understand the tarot, to read the tarot, most importantly, because I think probably like a lot of us, I spent my first few years learning what the cards mean, kind of like flashcards almost, and then I would sometimes get a bit stumped when it came to actually reading a spread. There is this siren that is just apparently circling around where I live. I think it's gone. Okay. Train of thought absolutely interrupted. What was I saying? Yeah, I used to learn the meanings kind of in isolation from each other. So it'd be like the Ace of Pentacles means this, the Magician means this, and the King of Wands means this. And then when they showed up together in a spread, I would sometimes struggle to make sense of the reading as a whole. And this book was the thing that helped me realize that what I need to learn is the connections between the cards and the other systems that are within the cards. So like astrology obviously being the system in this book. And reading this, even the way that the book is organized, like it's got the planet cards up front and then it has the sign cards and then it has the decan cards in the order of the decans rather than the order of the suits, like the numerological order of the suits. And even just like the way that it reorders the tarot, it really meshes the systems of astrology and tarot together and showed me that looking at the tarot structure through the perspective of the astrology is the best way to actually read the cards, at least for me. So instead of learning a bunch of correspondences like element, numerology, sign, planet, when I was reading this book, I started to see those different things as like a big interconnected web. And the card meanings, or how I read the card meanings, are pulled from the connections within that web. Does that make sense? Have I explained that well? So instead of like a table of like columns of numerology, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, you know, that sort of thing. It's like a big Venn diagram where everything overlaps. And what I'm reading when I'm reading a tarot spread, when I'm reading the cards, is the bits of overlap rather than just like, okay, we've got like 2 fire cards, an earth card and a water card. What does that tell me? Which like has its uses. It's not that I never read that way. It's not that I don't think about that. It's just that it really clicked for me when I was kind of starting to learn the tarot via its connections rather than a card at a time. Anyway, this kind of approach of like reading the connections, this big like tarot web idea, this is something I've been getting honestly quite passionate about in recent months. And I think this book was a bit of a like spark for that, a bit of a catalyst for that. So I'm very thankful for this book. It's also just a really solid book, and I would recommend it for deck and walk stuff. I know it's been recommended a lot for deck and walk stuff on TarotTube this year, and it's good. All right, prompt number 7 is a spread that you're thankful for, and this is a really basic one. I don't remember where I came across this spread. It was online somewhere. I have to shuffle. Is anyone else like this? Like, even if I'm just doing a little example spread that doesn't mean anything, like I'm not actually doing a reading, it feels like sacrilege not to shuffle. So this is just a 3-card daily spread, and I'm thankful for this spread in particular because it has become my daily reading. So I just do a vibe check for the day, the overall energy of the day, something to focus on, and then the 3rd card is advice. And sometimes I use 3 tarot cards, and sometimes I swap this out for an oracle. So like the vibes are topsy-turvy. What do I need to focus on is the High Priestess. I need to keep myself centered. I also like the imagery overlap here. So like it's a day that's going to be a bit chaotic, that's going to be up and down, that's going to be maybe fast moving, but the thing to focus on is this High Priestess energy of trusting my gut, trusting my intuition and my knowledge of myself and what I need. And then the advice is the Chariot. Keep moving regardless of this nonsense. Keep driving forward, follow your instincts. I love this deck. So that's been my like little daily 3-card draw. And like I say, sometimes this 3rd card is an oracle, which I've also been liking. And it's really quick. It's really easy, like, because it's vague. It's not very specific. Like, let's be honest, it's a vibe check for the day. And yeah, it's been working really well. I don't remember where I first saw it. I don't think I came up with it myself. It might be a bit of a bastardization of another spread that I found somewhere. Yeah. But the greater reason that I'm thankful for that spread is because I have been the most consistent with a daily reading in the last few months since I started doing that kind of spread than I have possibly ever before. Like, I've been doing my daily card pull that I'm doing at the moment with the Voyager. I've been doing that all year and I've been sticking with that, but that isn't a reading. That's more of like a getting to know a deck kind of practice. I pull a card, I see what the guidebook has to say. It's not predictive. It's not something that I'm pulling a card to assess the energy of the day or anything. That's just like a fun learning exercise. Whereas this 3-card draw is something that I've been really consistent with. I've been really enjoying. it's quick enough that I can do it every day, but it's meaningful enough that I feel like I'm actually getting something out of it. As opposed to if I was doing a single card like predictive draw, I'm like, well, a single card doesn't tell me much. Because like I said, when I was talking about the astrology book, I like reading the connections between the cards. And if I only pull one card, I can't do that. So yeah, I think that explains that. It was a very simple spread. Right, the final prompt is a person or multiple people that you're thankful for being a part of the tarot community. This was really hard because honestly, like pretty much everyone that I watch, like if I'm subscribed to you, it's because I like your content and I'm thankful that you're on TarotTube making videos for me to watch. I am thankful, this sounds so cheesy, but I'm leaning into it. I'm thankful for anyone who comments on my videos, anyone who watches my stuff, anyone who like has a little conversation with me in the comments. TarotTube brings me so much joy, and it's because I want to connect with people about tarot, and TarotTube lets me do that. So I'm just thankful for all of it. But I didn't want to tag like 100 people, so I'm trying to be really specific. So first of all, obviously Livy from Crescent Dreams Tarot for tagging me in this in the first place. Livy, I also did a VR, my first, hold on, let me get my thoughts in order. My first video was a VR to another tag that Livy created, the tarot community tag. So this feels like a lovely full circle moment to be doing this like gratitude tag also by them. Anyway, my point that I'm trying to make is anyone who has ever like tagged me in a thing, shouted me out in a thing, done a VR to one of my videos, anything like that, like obviously Livy, Sarah at tangytarot has also, I think, responded to a video or two of mine. Meg at Rose Honey Ritual has tagged me in a thing before, and like it's just really fun because it's that like community aspect of TarotTube when people are like responding to my stuff. It's just the coolest thing. I love it. And everybody I'm mentioning also, you should go and check them out if you don't already watch their channels because they're great. I'm certain I'm missing people. I feel like Robin's Reflections. Robin did a VR to my... I think Robin was my first ever, or did the first ever VR to one of my videos, to my Marseille video back in, my Marseille for May, back in May. That was really cool. Yeah, I'm sure I'm missing people. I will tag extra people probably in the description. Moving swiftly on, I also want to shout out specifically Candy at Candy Soul and Soil and Angel at Feeding My Soul, because they have both inspired me to create more art. I know this is a tarot tag, but it all intertwines for me. And this is just another way that TarotTube has like really enriched my life. That does sound cheesy, but it is what it is, and it's true. I think that individually their art is both really inspiring and also has inspired me to create more art, which I'm really pleased to be back doing. So definitely I'm thankful for the both of them. And then also Kelly Bear, who inspired me to pick up my first Marseille deck. Or rather, I don't think she inspired me to pick this deck up, but once I had this, I think after I'd bought it, watched her review, which is a thing I like to do. Does anyone else watch reviews of decks they've already got? And then, because she's so enthusiastic about Tarot de Marseille, it got me really enthusiastic about Tarot de Marseille, and I'm really thankful for that. And also, I think on a similar note, Logan at Larkin Legend, they are doing a series of Lenormand, I can't do the French accent, Lenormand videos at the moment. They also have some really cool Lenormand decks, which I am resisting purchasing for myself because the shipping is nuts to the UK and it's Christmas soon and I have to buy people presents. So, but I will, I think, be getting into Lenormand soon. I'm excited about it, and it will be like 95% down to Logan's enthusiasm for Lenormand and their videos that they're making at the moment. So I also would like to, yeah, be thankful for them too. Okay, I'm sure I could tag more people and I probably will switch the camera off and immediately regret forgetting people, and I might tag more people in the description. If I've forgotten you, I'm sorry. It's because my brain is rubbish, not because I'm not grateful for you in this community. But yeah, genuinely, like, it sounds cheesy, but it's true. Anyone who's ever watched something, commented on my videos, anyone I've ever had like a bit of a conversation with, I'm just very grateful for all of it, because TarotTube brings me so much joy, and it's down to the community, it's down to everybody else who's here. So yeah, I'm going to leave that off there because my camera battery is about to die. So one final thanks to Livy for creating this tag and for tagging me. The people I'm tagging, like, you don't have to do this video. I'm more like shouting them out. I want you to go check out their channels if you somehow don't already watch them all, etc, etc. But that is it from me. I'm done, I promise. Thank you so much for watching and for spending this time with me. I hope you've enjoyed. Give me a like if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.